But when you're ready, come to stand at your mat, and then you can just stand with a bit of space in front of you. And then just take a second and find your weight so that you're nice and centered on your feet. You're not leaning too far back with your hips forward, nor are you pitched forward with your knees locked out. So let your knees be nice and soft, nice and centered. And then just nod your chin and think like you have a big, 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 I don't know, waterfall or something that you're trying to round over a beach ball. Articulating down, letting your head be heavy, your arms be heavy, your knees go soft. And just take a deep breath here. Exhale and try to relax a little bit more like a rag doll. And then slowly peel yourself back up one vertebrae at a time. Let your shoulders stack on top of your hips, and then your head will be the last thing to lift. And one more time, nod your chin, going nice and slowly. Make sure you're not getting dizzy as you come up or going down too quickly. Again, soft knees, let your arms hang, take a big inhale, and then exhale. Try to relax a little bit more, trying to find length through the neck, the shoulders, and the hamstrings, and then again, peel yourself back up one vertebrae at a time. Stack yourself all the way up. And then let your head come on top of your spine, relax your shoulders, and then you're just gonna send your hips back and bring your hands onto your thighs. I like right above my knees. And then I'm gonna press my hands into my thighs, widen my sitting bones, and then find a nice open chest. And then round your spine again, press your hands into your legs, and then open. Find that extension, think about the connection between the armpits, drawing down towards the hips, and then round up one more time. 2 more like this. And last one. Just making sure you're not pressing directly onto the knees. And then from here, you're going to keep your left hand on your left leg, and you're going to bring your right hand behind your head. And then just press your left hand into your arm, or into your leg rather, and you're going to open up towards the right. And then you're going to rotate back to center. And then twist and rotate. Think about lengthening the crown of your head, your sitting bones in an opposite direction. And then back down. Think about rotating. And that arm will just follow. 2 more. And back. Last one, opening up to the right. And then reach your arm all the way up. And then swing your arm down, around. And then reach it back like you're going to reach it towards your hip. Staying in this slight twist. 2 more with the arm. Last one. And then come back to the center. Find that nice extension, round your spine up towards the ceiling again, and then find a nice neutral spine. And then now your left hand is going to come behind your head, right hand pressing into the thigh, and then press and open. And then center yourself back towards the floor. And then again, press and open. Keeping yourself in a nice neutral spine otherwise. 3 more. Exhale, twist. And back. 2. And last one. Good, pause in here. And then open that arm to the left. And you're just going to do 4 or 5 circles. Again, staying in that little twist. Last one. Good. Take 1 more breath in, round your spine, and then roll all the way back down. And then walk yourself out onto all 4s. From here again, round your spine up towards the ceiling. Really taking a moment to articulate your spine, widen the sitting bones, find that length through the front of your chest, and then peel yourself back up, rounding towards the ceiling. And then widen and come back down. 1 more time. Press up. And sit back onto your heels. You can bring your knees wide if that feels comfortable. And then just lower yourself all the way down towards the floor. You're going to bring your right hand, or your left hand rather, over on top of your right, and think about pressing down and lengthening your spine. Thinking like you're going to drag your heels towards your knees. Your head is lifted a little. And you can feel your back activate, and then press the floor away as you sink down. Even closer towards the ground. From here, plant your left hand and then bring your right hand back. And just think about getting a stretch, reaching those arms in opposite directions. You may get a good stretch through the armpit on that left side. A little release through the neck and shoulder on the right. Keep reaching your hips back behind you. And then we're going to come back to the center. Take a second here. And then just relax. Trying to release some of that tightness in our upper backs and our necks. And then from here, I'm just going to, you're going to bring your right hand on top of your left. Press down, draw the heels of the hands back towards your knees, and then think about lengthening your chest through your arms as you lift slightly. And then press the floor away, sink down. Take a second here, and then when you're ready, press your right hand into the ground. Keep reaching away, and then bring your left hand back by your side. And really think about stretching as much as you can through that right side. Reaching back still through the hips. 2 more. One last breath. Bring your left arm back, come to the center, and then slowly peel yourself all the way back up into your all fours position again. From here, you're just going to let your neck be nice and long, crown of the head reaching away, and then let your shoulder blades come towards your spine, and then press them away and lengthen your spine even more. So you're like a little turtle almost, so shoulder blades come in and then they press up and away. And then let them sink down and press up. 4 more. 3. 2 more. And last one. Pause here at the top. Think about spreading your fingers nice and wide, and then just lengthening the sitting bones. Keep reaching back as you send your heels towards, or your glutes towards your heels, and then shift your weight back to bring your shoulders right over your hands. And then again, shift back, keeping those shoulder blades nice and neutral on the spine. Come back. 4 more like this. 3, feel that little pull of the heel of the hands toward your knees as you come forward. Last one. And then pause here. With yourself in a nice, evenly balanced position here. Crown of the head is nice and long. You're going to bring your right hand to your right shoulder and then put it back down. Staying on that same side, right hand, left shoulder, and down. Noticing how your body weight wants to shift, how the right oblique kicks in, that left arm. Maybe your body wants to shift and add a little bit of a C curve. Try to resist that using your breath. Left elbow is nice and soft. 3 more. Make sure you're putting the weight all the way into that right hand as you put it back down to re-square yourself, and then back up. Last one. And then put that right hand down. From here, you're going to send your right arm back by your side, palm facing up, and then you're going to bring it back down towards your knee and then up towards your hip. Staying again in this nice, now tripod position. Just lifting and lowering. Think about lifting from the back of that arm. Shoulder stays nice and open. For 3, 2, and last one. Lower that hand down. Square yourself out one last time. And then from here, you're going to float your right hand up by your right shoulder. And you're just going to reach your hand in front of you. And then bring your elbow nice and wide to bring it back in. So you can see it on the left. You're just bringing that elbow and upper arm in towards your right side and then extending long. For 8, Keeping your hand at or slightly below shoulder level. You should more or less be able to see your hand the whole time. Neck is nice and long. 2. And last one. Lower that right hand down. Recenter yourself. Switching over to the left hand. You're going to send your left hand to your right shoulder and then place it back down. And then lift it and place it back down. Notice if one side is maybe a little easier than the other. My weight transfer is much less when I'm putting in when I'm moving my left hand than my right. 4 more. Neck is long. 3, 2. Last one. Place that hand down, re-square yourself. Make sure you're not hyperextending through that right arm. Sweep your left hand back behind you. Hand in line with your hip, lower it down towards your knee, and then squeeze from the back of the arm as you lift. You can even think about lifting maybe the pinky side of your hand a little higher than the thumb side so that you are really focusing on keeping that shoulder nice and open and the broadness through your collarbone. 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. Lower that hand all the way down, square yourself out. Reach that arm in line with your shoulder, and then reach it overhead. And then again, pull that side of your arm back towards your body. Hand is more or less in your periphery the whole time. Check in with that right elbow. 6 more. 5. Are you breathing? 3, 2, and last one. Place that right hand down. From here, walk your hands out slightly in front of your shoulders and then shift your weight forward. So you're in a modified plank here. Really using your shins, the tops of your feet. Tuck that tailbone under. You're going to send your left hand to your right shoulder and then alternate sides. And if you're not really shifting from one side to the other and you want to advance this, you're going to come up into a full plank. Right hand to left shoulder, alternating from one side to the other. You can make your base of support nice and big, feet wide, knees wide, for 6, 5, keep breathing, 4, 3 more, 2, moving nice and slowly, last one, and then drop the knees down, and then take a rest in child's pose, regardless of where you started, and then take a nice big inhale, and then exhale, let everything sink down into the floor, rock your head from right to left, on your forehead, you can add your hips, you can sort of sway as you move your head from one side to the other. Giving your forehead a little bit of a massage here. Last one. Good. And then slowly peel yourself all the way up. And you're going to come onto your back. Great. So once you're on your back, just take a second to make sure your head is fully on the ground. And then just bring your arms up towards the ceiling. You want to be in a nice neutral pelvis, whatever's comfortable for you here. Pubic bone and hip bones more or less in line with one another. And then you are going to reach your fingertips up towards the ceiling, separate your shoulder blades from your spine, and then let the arms drop and be heavy. Shoulder blades come towards the spine now. So same thing that we were doing before, looking for that extension or retraction and protraction of the shoulders for 6, 5, 4 more, 3, and then we're going to find our nice neutral shoulder position. 2, last one, drop them down, and then find that neutral position. If you have enough space, you're going to keep your arms wide, and if you don't, bend at the elbow at like more or less a 90-degree angle so your fingertips are pointing back behind you. If you have the space, your arms are long. All I'm looking for here is that your elbows are facing up more or less towards the ceiling if your elbows are bent. And then from here, you're going to open your arms wide to the side, keeping that neutral position through the shoulder, just feeling that slight retraction towards the shoulder blades. And then feel the gentle protraction away from the spine as you bring the arms back up. Not going past like shoulder distance, more or less. 4 more. Moving nice and slow and controlled. Maybe you'll get a little stretch through the chest if your chest is as tight as mine. Try to think about focusing your breath maybe towards your back ribs, making sure they're not lifting off the floor. 2. And last one. Pause the top. And then everyone, even if you have straight arms, you're going to bend your fingertips back behind you. And then you're going to reach your fingertips overhead, keeping those back ribs connected. And then you're going to draw your elbows towards your sides. And then reach back overhead, keeping the spine nice and stable. And then back down. Your arms don't need to come all the way towards the floor. That's fine. They're really moving nice and fluidly through the shoulder joint. 2 more. Last one. And then from here, you can let your arms come out to that cactus position. Just leaving them here for a moment, getting a nice stretch. And then you're gonna check in with your back. Mine really lifted off of the floor when I did this position with my arms. I'm gonna use my breath, try to find that connection. So from here, you're gonna bring your right leg up into tabletop and your left leg up to meet it. If this is uncomfortable with your arms in this position, go ahead and bring them down by your side. Having them here doesn't really give you the ability to use your arms for support without arching your back. So do whichever position is right for you. And then with your knees in tabletop, you're just going to reach your right leg away and then resist to bring it back in. Switching to the left side, lowering down from the thigh, and then really feel the femur be nice and heavy in the hip socket as you bring the leg back up. You can also alternate with one leg lifting and lowering your feet on the floor, or you can just limit your range of motion or drop your heels towards your glutes. Feet don't need to reach the ground ever. And alternate. And as your abs start to fatigue, if you feel your back trying to arch, bring your arms by your sides. 3 more to each side. Check in on your abdominals. You can bring a hand to them, making sure that they're not puffing up towards the ceiling. You're using your breath to help engage. You have 1 more to each side. And last one. Good. From here, bring your knees in towards your chest. Give your low back a little bit of a stretch. And you can rock back and forth, whatever feels nice. And when you're ready, bring your knees back to tabletop. Again, arms by your side or one hand on your abdominals, your choice. And then from here, you're just going to open both legs out, keeping the thighs the same distance from your chest, and then bring them back in. So open out, think like you're pressing something out, and then feel like you're zippering up through the inner thighs as you come in. And resist to come back in. Like you're squeezing a little ball. Feet can be pointed, flexed, flointed, doesn't matter. Try to move the feet and the knees at the same rate. 3 more. 2. Doesn't matter how wide you go. Last one. Good. From here, you're going to press the feet away, thighs lower. You're going to open the legs and then bring them in and together. So lowering down, open them wide, and then bring them up and around. We're doing a leg circle, but both legs together in this bend position. So you can think knees almost lead the circle. And if you'd like, you can leave the hips, or not the hips, the heels together as you open, and then bring the knees together, open the feet as you bring the legs up. If you want some internal and external rotation. One more in this direction. And then pause at the top. So from here, knees come in, and then open out wide, lower away from you, and then bring them back in. In, out, down. Keeping the hips pretty stable on the floor here. That distance between your ribs and hips is not changing, just the distance between your thighs and your torso. 2 more. And last one. Bring those knees all the way in. And then you're going to go ahead and have both legs back in tabletop one last time. And here you're going to come back to that either cactus position, or you're going to extend your arms all the way long, and then keep your upper arm externally rotated, and then you're just going to flip your thumb towards the ground, or you're in the cactus, your choice. And then from here, you're gluing your legs together, pretending you only have one leg. You're going to bring your knees over to one side, keeping the knees in line with one another, so the hips will lift, and then come back to the center. And then draw it over to the left, shoulders stay down, hip lifts, and then resist through the abdominals to bring them back. So think that the weight of your legs helps bring you out, and then your abdominals are pulling that hip back to neutral. And then over to the right. Using your breath, and right. And to the left. We're going to do 2 more to each side, and then your hip flexors are going to get a bit of a break. Last one to the left. Over, and then really wring yourself out. Bring your knees into your chest, and then extend your left leg nice and long. Reach through that heel, and then just bring that right knee in towards your chest. I don't want to kick my tea over, that would be bad. Okay. And then bring it out towards the left, or towards the right, and then you can bring it rather across your body over to the left. Getting a little bit of a twist, you can lift your hip up. And then bring it back to the center, lower that right leg now down. Watch for any drinks that may be laying around. Reach through that right heel, bring your left knee in. Getting a stretch through the front of that leg as well as the back of the left leg. Out to the left, opening through the hip. And then bring it across and get a nice twist here. Ooh. If you feel your hip flexor come in, try to really let it go by putting the weight of your leg in your hand. You can also drop your foot onto your other leg like a little kickstand. And then lower that leg all the way down. Make sure you have space. Both legs are going to come extended out in front of you. Bring the arms up towards the ceiling. Keeping that nice neutral shoulder positioning. You're going to let your shoulders, or your arms rather, come back slightly overhead. And then bring them back towards your hips as they come into your periphery. You're going to nod your head, neck, and shoulders up. Reach towards your feet. And you're just going to peel yourself all the way back down. And then press the arms back overhead. Gently, so this doesn't feel uncomfortable through the shoulders. And then as they come back into your periphery, nod the head, neck, and shoulders, press down through the arms. We're going to do 2 more like this, letting the arms come overhead and then lifting the head, neck, and shoulders before we move on to a roll-up. So as you're here, feel that connection between the ribs and the hips. Excuse me. And then come back. Pause here. From here, you're going to reach forward. Your hands are going to move forward, but you're going to think about reaching your ribs towards your hips, and then you're going to lower back down just an inch. Head is nice and neck is nice and long. Your head is not glued to your chest. Lift and then lower halfway back. Really focusing on that connection to start to lift more of your back off of the floor and back to the shoulder blades. Last one like this, and then lower back down. Now you're going to lower all the way down, reach the arms overhead. Once the hands come into periphery, nod the head, neck, and shoulders. Find that connection between the ribs and the hips as you peel yourself all the way up. Reach forward over your legs. And then from here, keeping yourself in a nice C curve, you're going to round back. Think like you're getting punched in the stomach and you're trying to recoil yourself away. Sacrum's going to be the first thing to touch the ground. Your feet will slide with you. Think about your sitting bones reaching down the backs of your legs. As you open through the front of the hip, let that sacrum touch. And then from there, you just unpeel the rest of your spine. Arms reach overhead. 2 more. Arms overhead. Curl up. Connect the ribs to the hips. Again, think like you got punched or there's a beach ball and you're trying to put your whole body over it. And then rounding all the way down. So feet will come with you. Open through the hips. Sacrum's the first thing down. Then mid-back, shoulder blades, head, arms overhead. Last time. Lift all the way up. We're going nice and slow here. It's harder. You can think your feet reach away from you. And then round all the way forward. You can grab onto your knees, your legs, your shins, your feet. Bend your knees, whatever feels good here. Just take a nice stretch. And then peel yourself all the way up. Good. From here, come onto your right forearm. And you're going to You're going to extend your top leg and your right knee will be bent underneath you. And then from here, you're just going to let yourself sink down, let your shoulder come up towards your ear. And then you're going to press down into the floor and find that connection. So the underside of that the right side of your body, your shoulder, the armpit connected down towards your hip. And then again, you're just going to let yourself sink down. This is nice and comfortable, but then find the support by pressing the floor away. 6 more. Lower down and lift. This is sort of like a single-sided scapula push-up like we've done in all fours, as well as another variation laying on our back. 3 more. And you can feel the strength that you have once you've pushed that floor away. Last time, you're going to hold that press away. Keep pressing the floor away so much that you're going to come all the way up into a side plank. If you feel that your elbow wants to run away from you, really think about that armpit connection underneath. And then you're going to tap your hips down and then lift back up. And tap them down and lift. If you'd like, you can bring your bottom leg with your top leg and have both of them long. Either way, you're focusing on keeping those hips open and nice and strong support through that underside. You can extend your top arm up. You can keep it wrapped around your ribs, whatever is helpful. For 7, we're doing a lot of these. 6, 5, 4 more, 3, 2, and last one. Lower all the way down. Press the floor away and side bend up and over towards the left. Really think about opening through that side all the way down into that right hip bone. Have your left hand wherever it's comfortable. I'm going to put mine on my right knee for leverage. I'm going to press my hand into my knee as I open up towards the ceiling. And then rotate back to the center. And then press into that your legs, the floor, whatever you're using, and open up. I'm actually going to bring my hand behind my head and then come back to the center, and then open up. And back down. 2 more. And last one. And from here, round forward. We're going to do a side stretch in the other direction. But from here, you are going to send your left heel towards the floor, and then hook your right ankle, underneath it. So you're in a little bit of a modified diamond position here. Your right hand is out to the side, more or less in line or slightly in front of that left hip. Left or right hip, right. The top hand is going to reach long, and then press into your feet, and then reach up and over your right arm, and then send yourself back down. Adjust as you need, so I need to walk my hand a tiny bit farther away. Then press into that right hand, find that connection of the underside of your body and side bend up and over. And back down. 4 more. Really use the strength of your legs to sort of help propel you up. And again, that push away of the floor and the engagement of everything on that right side, just like we were doing before. And 2 more. Right arm is more or less underneath your shoulder. Last one. And then come all the way down and spin around to the other side. So, right leg is now long, left knee is bent, left arm underneath. You can be in a fist, you can have your palm facing the floor, the ground, whatever works for you. But either way, you are going to sink down and then press the floor away, find that connection. Find the elbow, the armpit drawing towards your underside of your body, and then release it back down, and then press up, find the connection. And down, and lift. Again, as with everything, you may notice one side is easier than the other. Two or 3 more. Really find that connection at the top. Last one. Hold it here. You can reach that top arm up if you like, and then press the hips up, and then flip the hips down and up. Again, if that elbow is trying to run away from you now, make sure that it is drawing towards those hips, really connecting through the armpit. 7 more. Again, you can do this in a full side plank with your feet either stacked or one in front of the other. Your choice. Holding that connection. 3. Down. 2. And last one. Good, and then lower all the way down. Bring your knees in, and you're going to side bend up and over now towards the left. And then come all the way up. 2 more side bends to the right, not the left. I don't know why this is extra hard today. All right. And then this last time, you're going to side bend up and over. I'm going to have my right hand on my left knee. And you're going to twist and rotate up and then back down. And again, I'm going to bring my hand to the back of my head. 3 or 4 more. Or if it feels good to just stay, just stay. You make it as big or as small as you'd like. Do what feels right for you at the moment. And last one. And then reach that arm overhead, square yourself to the front, and then come back up. From here, now plant your right foot, left ankle behind the right foot, and then right hand out, or rather left hand out in line with your hip or slightly in front, and then adjust after this first one. So right arm reaches, find that connection, draw that hand in towards your hip, feel the whole underside, fire up. And then from here, press through the feet and then slide yourself into your nice side bend, and then send your hips down. Again, find that connection, press up. Use that right foot pressing into the floor just like you're using your left hand. For 6. 5. Breathing as you go. 4. 3 more. Make sure that left elbow is not hyperextending. 2. Last one. Really think about lifting those hips up towards the ceiling. So you side bend and then come all the way down. Good. From here, come onto your back. Just slowly roll yourself all the way back down. Let your head come to the mat. And just give yourself a second here. Bring those arms to a cactus position. Again, letting your chest open up. The name of the game here is relaxing, getting a little relief through shoulders and necks, but also working a little hard. You can either leave your arms where they are, or you can bring them down by your side, your choice. You're going to firmly plant your feet into the ground. Find that little connection between your heels and your glutes. As you curl the tailbone under, draw the hips towards the ribs, and then peel yourself up one vertebrae at a time. Neck and shoulder blades stay on the ground. And then find yourself in a nice bridge, whatever height is comfortable for you. Really think about drawing your inner thighs towards one another like you're squeezing a block. Heels towards the glutes, engaging through the hamstrings, and that little tuck under of the pelvis. And then peel yourself all the way back down. And release. And again, press down, find that activation, and then breathe as you move. Or breathe, activate it. And then think as though that ball, that block, your pelvic floor is lifting, that block or ball could just sort of go and grab that ball. So that connection is really, really starting all the way at the pelvis and emanating down the inner thighs. And then you're just going to think here about squeezing that imaginary thing in between your thighs for 12, 11, 10. Your glutes are probably starting to engage here. That's totally fine, but keep focusing on that pelvic floor, that imaginary item that you're squeezing with the thighs for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And then from here, curl the tailbone under just a tiny bit more, lower the hips down halfway, and then find a nice neutral pelvis. And then from that neutral pelvis position, lift your hips back up. And then drop them down into neutral pelvis. And then lift and lower. So you may find that little tuck under as you lift, and then release to neutral as you lower. It's totally fine. Really thinking about opening through the hips as you lift, squeezing that imaginary item for 5, 4, 3, 2 more. Last one, pause here at the top. You can lower those hips down a few inches if you need, but you're just going to let that left leg fall out to the left. So you're coming onto the outer edge of your left foot, and then resist to bring it back in. You're going to stay on that left side. Let that leg fall out and resist to bring it back in. That right leg doesn't move. You have a magnet between your thighs, so you're resisting as you bring it back in. It's like the good magnet, but the bad magnet. So it has both the same pole and opposite poles. I think they're both poles. 3 more. 2. Last one. Really settle back into that whole left foot. And then you're going to do the same thing on that right side. So your right thigh is going to open out and then resist to bring it back in. Keeping that left hip nice and stable. Good, you can almost feel or maybe you can completely feel That pull all the way from the inner thigh through the pelvic floor into those abdominals, and how hard your abdominals are working here to keep you nice and square. 3 more. And last one. Good. And then peel yourself all the way down, 1 vertebrae at a time. And then release. And then you're going to come back up one last time for one more stretch. And then again, peel yourself all the way back down, 1 vertebrae at a time. You can cross your right ankle over your left. And then just let that let that knee fall out to the side. And then if you like, you can grab behind the thigh like this and do a figure 4 stretch. Or you can just let that right foot fall towards the floor and let yourself roll onto the outside edge of your right, or your left foot rather. Sort of a little pretzel-y position, whatever feels better. Both shoulders should still be on the ground. A few more breaths. You can bring it higher towards your arm if you need a little additional stretch. Either way, try to think about having a neutral pelvis. So think about the length through the tailbone. And then bring those legs back in. And you're going to switch sides. So left ankle crosses over the right, and then just take a breath and let it fall out to whatever externally rotated position works for you. You can either grab on behind that thigh and pull it in, releasing through the tailbone, or you can drop your left foot towards the right side, rolling onto the outside edge of your right foot. I don't have the space, so I will do one of each. Either way, keep breathing. You can bring the thighs a little closer towards your body to increase your stretch. They are slightly different stretches, so. One more breath, and then undo your legs. Bring them out long. Reach the arms overhead. We're going to roll all the way up. Find that connection with your back ribs and the floor. Reach the hands up towards the ceiling. Nod the chin. Find the connection between your ribs and your hips. Take an inhale, pause, and then exhale. Find that connection. Reach the spine back. Legs go away from you. Round forward over the legs, 1 vertebrae at a time. And then stack the spine all the way up. Good. From here, you're going to come back into all fours. And you're just going to take one last child's pose. And then we're going to use the towel to give our necks a little stretch. Take a big inhale. Really feel the expanse through your back ribs. And ribs all the way out to the sides, not just towards the floor. Then again, give your head a little stretch, a little rock from one side to the other. And slowly peel yourself all the way up and find a nice sitting position. And then from here, you can take your towel or just your hands behind your head, whatever you'd like. If you have a towel, you're going to wrap it around the base of your neck. You're going to do the same with your hands, either way. Think about lengthening the crown of your head, and then just gently nod down. Let the towel kind of take the weight of some of the weight of your head. And then think about lifting and then reaching your head back into the towel, getting a little stretch to the front of your neck. And then come back to the center. And then rotate all the way over to the right. Getting that little stretch. Pull a little bit more on that right hand as you look to the left. Shoulders are nice and relaxed. And then come back to the center and look over to the right now, and then give a little tug on the towel to the left. And increase that stretch a little bit more. One more time to each side. And center. Last one over to the right. And then take that towel out. Reach your arms all the way up. And then from here, shrug your shoulders. Let them find their nice neutral position on your back. And then just bring the elbows wide. Tap the towel to the crown of your head. And then reach it up. And I do not know why, but this always makes my neck feel like it's 2 inches longer and aligned as it's supposed to be. Makes my shoulders feel good. We're going to do 4 more. Really focusing on that smooth movement, giving a little tug to the towel, reaching the crown of the head up towards the towel. Last one. Pause the top, side bend to the right. Again, shoulders are relaxed, keeping reaching the crown of the head towards the towel, up to the ceiling, and then over to the left one last time. Crown of the head reaches all the way up, and then let your arms float down in front of you. You can drop your towel, and you are all finished. Thank you.